Greetings friends! Before we get into today's video and the work that I have to do, I first want to let you know that I plan to share some exciting news with you at the end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned for that exciting news! How's your day going today? Let me know in the comment section below. Go ahead, you can comment now while the video is still going. Go ahead, it's fine. Today, I'm out here cutting some trees down once again, here in this area that the plan is for it to be my future duck area. Yeah, we have ducks that we've been raising here on the homestead for a number of years now, but I really want to have an area that's more permanent to keep them in, especially during the colder months, that they can come in and we can work on keeping their area sanitized, and they'll be right here beside the pond. So started this project about a week or two ago and just continuing on with chipping away with getting rid of the trees. And right now I've got a few smaller trees that we're going to get rid of before I tackle. There's two big trees, really big trees. I've never taken trees down that big, but I think we can do it. But first we need to clear out the trees around here, and we're making some pretty good progress. While I'm working down here, the kids are up there closer to the house working on splitting wood with the Sun Joe hydraulic wood splitter. And we've come to really enjoy using this tool, and a number of viewers have mentioned that they've gotten one and they really like it too. And if you would like to get one, you can check out the resources in the show notes below and you get a Sun Joe. It doesn't require any electricity, any gas. It only requires just a little bit of muscle power, but only enough muscle power that even the kids can split it. Well, I'm gonna get back to cutting down, dropping some trees here. And I've only been doing this kind of work on the homestead now for maybe about 2 years or so, and I've really come to enjoy it. During this homestead journey, I've come to find that there's things that once you do them, you're like, I really don't want to do that anymore. But then there's other things that you're like, man, I can't wait to do that again. It's kind of fun. And I'm gonna say this is kind of fun. It reminds me back when we were at Polyface Farm. Joel is known for his farming and all the different things that he does with raising livestock, but he really enjoys using the chainsaw. Had the opportunity to see him drop a number of trees, and for him it's almost just like a man timeout where he just goes out there and drops a few trees. And one of the things that he said that I really have been trying to think about and conceptualize more is that we need more forest and less trees. So with that concept in mind, with less trees and more forest, in those forests that you have, it will allow those trees to grow and really develop the way that they need to and want to. And it will also provide a more suitable habitat and areas to raise animals in. So it's really neat what Joel's doing there. And he also took time to show me how he sharpens the chainsaw, and here it is here.
Hard to appreciate how easy it is to mess up something.
Yeah.
So I use one of these little guides, and you set it on here. It has a little shelf, so you set it between the chain and the bar.
Can you just get one of those at like a Husker Barn dealer or Steel, or is that a special order item? Not sure.
Yeah. You can get them at places that sell chainsaws.
Okay, so Lowe's or Home Depot should have them. Maybe.
I would go to a chainsaw dealer.
Okay.
All right. Now, what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to set this. See, I've got a up and down here. I do everything at about 32 degrees angle. This one is very worn. I've had this for literally many years. It's really worn out, but I'm too attached to it to get rid of it. So what I want is I want to set it so that about 20 to 25% of the file is above the tooth. Okay. And then I'm gonna give it a shot of oil here. And then what you're feeling when you rub your finger on it like that, you want to feel a little burr that indicates new steel. Now most people run their file opposite what I'm running. They run it the other way, but I find that this actually seems to work better because I can really, because if you get a burr going this way, you really know you're down to new steel.
How long have you been working with chainsaws and working with lumber and all that fun stuff?
Well, I started running a chainsaw when I was about 15 or 16 and never quit. It's one of my favorite things in all the world is you know, running a chainsaw, you can see what you've done pretty quick. And I like being able to see what I've done pretty quick.
And one of the things that I've noticed just from homesteading, especially if you live in a wooded area, learning to use a chainsaw is almost a must.
Yeah. I believe the guy, there's a book written by a guy, I forget his name, but he said if there's 1 gallon of gas left on the planet, it needs to go through a chainsaw. And I tend to agree with it. Flip it around. Got to flip it opposite. So I've got degrees up here, so I go to 35 and then I go 2 more, 1, 2 past 35, and that's where I go. Crank it down a little tighter. Flip it around the other side. And if you have it set right, you shouldn't have to change the adjustment on the file. You know, this is how you get a proper file, is you leave the setting the same on both sides, and that way it files accurately both sides. You can tell by the sound of the file whether it's biting or not.
Now, do you have a preference as far as what brand of chainsaws you like? Some better than others?
Well, there's really only 2. There's either Steel or Husqvarna. And I like the Husqvarna because it's got the air injection system. And I think it's actually a little bit lighter for the horsepower than the Steel. But you know, I'm not going to die on that hill. Either one of them's fine.
But anything other than those 2 names, you definitely would stay away from?
Yes, I would. I'd stay away from anything other than those 2.
How often do you suggest sharpening saw blades?
Every time you, well, I like to sharpen it after every use, unless you don't use it very long. But I try to, whenever I go out, like this time, I ran 5 tankfuls of gas through it.
Okay.
And so it definitely needs to be sharpened. But again, you know, a lot of people would never be able to get 5 tankfuls of gas because it'd go, you know, it'd be dull.
Yeah.
But if you sharpen it right, it'll go a long time. There we are, back at the beginning. All right, didn't have to put a new one on. The other thing, so this little jig, you know, these things only cost whatever it is, you know, $30. But I'll tell you what, I'd pay in the weight of it. I'd pay it in gold if it was. I mean, because you just can't eyeball it you know, and get it right.
You also are able to get the same angle each time and not have to...
Yeah. Now the other thing that's really important is these rakers. And so I've already taken the rakers down 3 strokes, so you have a flat file. And that's what you use to take the rakers down. So the teeth are on an angle, see? They angle back. So as the tooth wears, it takes less and less of a sliver. The distance between the cutting edge and this raker, the raker's what it rides on the bottom of the cut. And the distance between that cutting edge and this raker is how thick the slice is. And so if you let that get real thin, then you're not working your saw. You know, the saw is you know, but it's not really cutting. So and if it starts cutting sideways a little bit, you can, because a lot of times, I don't know, just the way you run a stroke, you don't just do the right and left exactly the same. And so sometimes you have to take one of the rakers down, you know, an extra amount on one side to help compensate for, you know, as it starts to wear, you know, and it might start to move a little bit. The other thing I do every single time I sharpen is I clean the air filter. And this is one of the things I really like about Husqvarna. It's so easy to take out. And so, watch this. So, look at all that dust. And that dust is really important to keep out of your engine. So,
and all this just helps to prolong the life of your chainsaw and
absolutely
better cuts.
Yep, better. Yeah, you don't want a dull chainsaw. You want a nice. You want it to pull itself. If you've got to be pushing it through, that's you're wearing out your saw and wearing out yourself. So what you want is for it to pull itself through the wood. I always like to put it away sharp.
There you go.
It's always ready to go. Put it away dull, and all of a sudden you got to go use it, and you can't. You don't have anything to do.
And nothing like starting a project when you got to sharpen your tool, get your tool ready. You don't want to go into a project that way. You want your tools to be ready.
You want your tools to be ready, to be sharp, to be accessible. So when you want to start, you can start. You don't have to sit here and spend half an hour, you know, getting ready to start. Starting's half the battle, right?
That's right.
So if you're ready to start, you can go.
There we go. Oh, the uniform. I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here with Han Solo and Ben Kenobi. We're here to rescue you. I think it goes something like that on Star Wars A New Hope. Well, anyway, enough joking around. Well, as you can see, I've been making some progress. It may look like a disaster zone here and look like a tornado came through or war zone. But I've made a lot of progress. Gotten a lot of the trees down I've wanted to get. I did have an interruption though, somewhat unexpected. So I'm working down here, and then I have my earmuffs on, my ear protection on, running my chainsaw, and then I somewhat hear the dogs in the background barking unusually, like something's around here that shouldn't be around here. So I'm just like, oh, maybe it's just nothing. Let's go back to work. And then I hear some people yelling at me, and it's our neighbors saying, Mike, you have a delivery. So we had a delivery. So I'm out of breath down here working just because I was really going at it. And I had to run up the hill, just out of breath, got up top of the hill, saw the delivery guy, and he's like, I'm trying to deliver. Is this the right place? I'm like, yeah. So he said he had a tractor trailer and he didn't want to bring it through the driveway and potentially get stuck where he couldn't back out. So Lacie started up the skid steer, took it down the driveway, and bam, we met there. And I was actually expecting a delivery. I wasn't sure if it was coming today or tomorrow. So, but it did catch me off guard just because I was down here focused, and I like to focus. So we get down there, get to the truck, and it's the Dirtcraft Organics soil potting mix that I have been ordered and have been wanting to get, because it's the best stuff that there is for us when we start our seeds inside, and we're doing a number of other things. So we got 2 pallets, and we also had some friends that wanted to join in and ordering some, just because his place is like 2.5 hours from here. So we're like, just get it delivered and let a couple of us join in. So Lacie unloaded the truck, transported it over, dropped it off. Came back over here and got work. Once again, we're cutting these trees down. Cutting down so much, it's like getting close to probably gonna need the chainsaw sharpen here in a little bit, especially after I'm gonna go ahead and after all the trees that I've dropped. Now we're gonna have to chop them up, chop them into logs, and probably need to sharpen the chainsaw after that. And I wish I had the skills like Joel. That's one thing I still need to improve on with my chainsaw skills, my lumberjack skills, is sharpening the chainsaw. So working on it. It's a work in progress. And just thinking back of hanging out and talking with Joel and on his farm, and we were just talking about all kind of things there. And you guys saw a number of the videos that when we were there, but there were some things that we didn't record on camera, like we were talking about doing projects like this. And for as a man, these are some of the things that make you feel good. It makes you feel like you're doing something worthwhile. It's like there's something in us. God put something in us to do these kind of rugged things. I'm not saying women can't cut down trees. There's lumberjills, and Lacie does great with all that, but there's something in me as a man that wants to get out here and do this rough, tough stuff. And there's some other things that I want to do, like hunting, and there's just other things. I just want to be a man and do some manly, rugged stuff. So yeah, quite a long ways from where I used to be as a considered metrosexual back in the day. Just kidding, but not really. I like to dress nice and still do, but that was one of the main things. It was back in the day, a different type of focus. But now out here, have a completely different focus in what we're doing out here and what I'm doing. I want to reach my full potential in every way possible, as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a homesteader, and a little bit here like a lumberjack. And I do want to admit that some things are, like when I'm cutting down some of these trees, especially the 2 big ones that I have left to do, they're bigger than some of the trees that I've done in the past, so it's going to be pushing me. So we got the one big one there, and then we have the other big one to the right here that has died, so we'll have to drop that. But I'm gonna wait till we just clear up around here and make it safe, make it safer to move around and do what we need to do. And be able to drop the tree easier. And I do want to say, these things push you. Homesteading in general has pushed me in so many different ways and forced me to grow, and as a human being and as a man and as whatever you want to call me, it's just pushed me. And like I said, doing these things aren't exactly, there's not stress-free. There's adrenaline rush big time with cutting down a tree, making sure you do it safe, making sure I don't have it get hit in any way, or have a branch come back and hit me, some fall on me or whatever. It's an adrenaline rush, but at the same time, it pushes me. And we shouldn't live life in fear. Yes, there's a healthy fear and regard for the potential for danger, but you got to go forward and push yourself in so many different ways. That's the only way to live, and that's the way that produces and helping us to grow and be better individuals. Just pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. And homesteading, I'm constantly doing that, constantly pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Well, I'm going to be using my log ox here and start cutting up some of these trees, and I think we'll come back to those big guys another day, because it's going to take me a while to clean up in here around the big guys, and then we'll come back and do the big guys. So make sure you stay tuned and see me if I have the guts to do what it takes to drop the big guys. So stay tuned. Alrighty, do you remember at the beginning of this video I promised to share with you some pretty exciting news? Well, throughout our adventures here on this YouTube channel, we've had the opportunity to have some pretty amazing journeys, to be able to share with you all some of the things that we have done, as well as some of the things that we know, as well as we've been able to see some amazing places and meet some pretty amazing people like Joe Salatin. But you know what? All of what we do on this YouTube channel probably wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for one family that inspired us to begin this channel in the first place. Justin, Rebecca, and their children, the Rhodes family, have inspired us in our homesteading journeys, as well as here on YouTube. And if it wasn't for Justin Rhodes telling me and encouraged me to share our journeys on the homestead, I don't know if we would have this opportunity to share all the things that we do here on this channel. Well, my good friend is launching his very own docu-series. It's like a Netflix type of thing, but from a homesteading perspective. And I'm so happy for him that he has made it to this point to be able to do that. So I can't wait to see the premiere. And if you check out the show notes below, you can tune in to see the premiere of their brand new docu-series, Rooted. Check out the show notes below for more information. We'll see you next time.